everybody. A minute to get acclimated for anybody that might just be jumping in. It's not going to be an overly long stream. I really don't have anything prepared in the workshop per se, but I did receive comments on my Windows 98 SSD upgrade video. So for any of the subscribers that I've gained out of that video, if you end up clicking on this, either right now or after the fact, since I have received at least one comment that I know of for sure, wanting to see when this machine is upgraded. I've been thinking about even taking it out of this big gray gargantuan case and possibly even putting it in a more modern case. I've been wanting to do kind of like a reverse sleeper build. Turn some background music on there, you guys. It's probably better than listening to it. It is what is probably the windiest day that we've ever had here in Ohio. So if you hear any noises, it's probably just a bunch of wind up against my garage. It's kind of unfortunate, but what can you do? It's a windy day out, and there's really not a lot between us and the outside elements in this garage. That's why in most videos you'll see me, I'm usually in my full jumper with my hat on, and that's because it's normally really cold out here. But now that it's starting to get, into the spring, it's warming up a little bit here. Obviously today it's a windy, nasty day out. The sun did come out briefly, but that's besides the point of the live stream. So anyways, hear any funny noise, it's either me rubbing up against the mic or it's most likely wind noise, but I'm trying to be aware of it, give you guys something a little bit to listen to in the background. If it's too quiet, let me know. So anyways, gonna order some RAM and the video card for the Windows 98 machine so we can actually do some cool retro gaming on it, and then hopefully in the near-ish future after that, let me go over here and grab it, you guys. Hold on, give me just a second here. Ugh. So much crap in the way. Alright, now this guy is heavy. I'll kind of show you my original plan for this. If I can get over here with it. Okay, so this is a big old briefcase, suitcase, whatever you want to call it. Now if I open it up though, top down's kind of not in a good spot. I have something on my laptop here I kind of want to show everybody. It's just a real brief 30-second thing that I'm working on. Just kind of giving you guys a little foreshadowing what to expect of the next few of my videos. Of course, we're going to do some stuff with the Windows 98 PC. But I've been working on a really important project for work the last 3 weeks, and I think me, my boss, the whole team were really excited to start marketing the new vehicle we put together. That's all I'm going to say for that. But anyways, inside here, I've been wanting to put an arcade machine. So if I spin this around here, there's a lot of space in here, and these old cloth separators actually have like wired backbone, so that we might actually be able to put like a hard material on here, either ABS or even a piece of sheet metal, like a sheet aluminum or something like that might even go here. But this ideally will be where the control sticks will go. I've been wanting to put an arcade setup in here basically. So you'd open it up, probably have to screw the joysticks on because obviously there's going to be a screen here. But then I also have like HDMI outputs and stuff because I want to put either a full computer in here or either that or a very, very robust retro game emulation machine like a Mr. FPGA or something like that, which is going to cost as much as a computer. So like I'm kind of torn on that because the Mister can only do so much emulation. So actually, let me open this up here. I'll kind of show you my idea. So I think I already have, yep. So this isn't the last remaining one I have. This is actually a 4x3 monitor. You know, they don't exist really anymore, not in 4x3. There's plenty of 16:9 monitors out there, and even 16:10. I'm talking aspect ratio here for anybody that's not aware. Because sometimes, you know, the resolution isn't as important when you're more concerned about the shape of the screen. So when we talk about aspect ratio, we're talking about basically the squareness of it. 4x3 is almost a square, basically. So if you looked at that monitor compared to something modern where I said 16:9, so it's much wider than it is tall. So a lot of old games, youngins probably won't understand, but I don't really have to explain it to anybody that's like 30 years old or older than that. You know, the TVs that we all had before we had these flat screens everywhere were all 4x3 aspect ratio. You know, some people that had the like floor model big screen, some people were lucky enough to have 16:9, you know, 10 years or so before it was really popular. But trust me, it was only people with a lot of dough. But anyways, I got the 4x3 monitor, so that's my idea. You open it up, you have a nice square monitor in here, a couple of joysticks, you know, 6 buttons probably each per player. Do 2 players in here, maybe even have an add-on where you can add 2 more controllers, so you have 4 players, and then that's what the HDMI out would be for it. Also, maybe even do an RCA out, so you can plug it into an old school CRT, you know what I mean, plug it into an old TV. I'm not really sure what all I want to do as far as connections go, but I know for sure I want to be able to open this up, screen, 2 joysticks, you know what I mean, and then you could have it here, I could just have it out on the table or whatever, you know what I mean, my arcade machine, but it's also portable, right? But I have a full PC in there, so I think it'd be kind of a neat project. I guess everybody would have to let me know about that, but anyways, that's just one thing in the pipeline. So we got the arcade machine in a briefcase. I've got the Windows 98 machine here. It needs a video card upgrade and some RAM so we can try to play vanilla World of Warcraft on it. So I'm going to run a server on this guy right here, the server machine. So I'm already running a Wrath of the Lich King server, so I figured, you know, just knocking it down 2 pegs to a vanilla server and then seeing if I can run the actual vanilla client on this Windows 98 PC. I think that'll be pretty cool. And anyways, I'm gonna darken the view here for a hot second. Okay. Now, one thing I need to do real quick, you guys, before we get into this here, is I need to see these advanced. Okay. There we go. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and play this here for you guys. I really hope you enjoy. Sorry, I didn't mean to make the screen dark for that long, but I had to kind of check the audio sources, and I'm glad I did, because it would have been going back double through my mic and everything else. So I'm going to make sure everything is ready here on my laptop. We're going to put this into full. All right, let's go ahead and check this out. Without further ado, it's what I've been working on for the last few weeks, so you guys can expect a deep dive video on kind of what I do for my day work. So, hope you enjoy. have it, folks. I know it was just kind of a quick 30-second, just a little bit of a teaser. I do have quite a bit of footage from the whole process of this thing, several hours of time-lapse footage. I've got quite a bit already, but before I really get into filming the meat and bones of it per se, I want to make sure we get some nice weather, because I want to be able to go. Sorry, my laptop just randomly started playing stuff. All right, but anyways, because as I start to do mapping in this new vehicle, for anybody that's seen some of my older videos from last year when I first started with Mastermind and working with Mapster, I've since signed a deal as a software development specialist. So I'm helping with a lot of development of the meats and bones, but more so I've been really involved for the last 3 weeks, as I mentioned in the little teaser there, in the main aspects of development of the actual capture vehicle itself. So I'm mainly more responsible for the power system and then putting the computer in the car, of course. So in the car, we've got a 13900K system with a RTX 3060, and it's not the best of the best of the best, sir, when it comes to GPUs, but the 3060 is more than appropriate for running in a car. It still has a 13900K, so let's not kid ourselves here. So we've got 64 gigs of RAM, 13900K, 3060. We've got 10 cameras in total, if you count all 6 of them on the Ladybug. So the Ladybug 6 up top is the piece de la resistance, I guess, of the car. It's the main focal point probably that you'd notice if I drove past you in it. There's the big red menacing thing with the huge lenses on the very top, but the 4 cameras just underneath that are also kind of unmistakable. So obviously they have to be weather protected, so even though the cameras themselves aren't exactly any more substantial, the Ladybug is definitely larger, but you'll notice all of it as a whole if it was driving by you, mainly because you'd probably be worried and trying to hide stuff in your car because it's thinking that we're trying to photograph you or something. It's funny kind of the reactions that people have to the car sometimes, because our main focus is representing the actual physical geospatial data, and it's not we don't care about your car. We don't even really care so much about your house unless we have, certain county auditors like to be able to view parcel data, but that just kind of gives an outline of property lines. It might not always be, because people are like, well, that's not the actual property line. It's more of a reference thing, especially when it comes to county auditors. It doesn't have to be 110% that, but there's also a growing need for a lot of things when it comes to representing real world data digitally. And the best method of that, since computers have been invented, has been incorporating GPS, of course, but it's all been this top-down orthographic view that we're kind of all used to nowadays. And anybody that's used Street View knows how invaluable I mean, in a way, I guess it is. I mean, but it is super handy to be able to zoom in and look at a place and get a visual reference for what that area actually is going to look like when you get there. But it's not even just that. So we're running a dual LiDAR array, so it's not just like being able to see it without being there. But for us, with the data that we gather, it's also about keeping people out of harm's way and doing a lot of these arbitrary, sorry, the wind is really kicking up. So, and it's about doing these before that were super arbitrary jobs, but they put people in danger. Now we're able to do those jobs by going and capturing a county's, road data by driving up and down it and scanning it with the car, and then a person is able to go back and digitally log all the signs, the mile points, and that's huge, because before the ability to do that, why it's so important is because road crew would have to physically go out and do that. you look at something like a car that might cost $100,000 or more, and then you have to wonder why the expense. Well, obviously because the profit's worth it, but also, when you have to send a crew out, even if it's a crew of 2, if you're doing signs for the whole year, if, let's say you only had one job, that job is paying the 2 employees' salary basically. It just depends on how big the crew is, and there were a lot of times when the crew would be big enough, and if they don't live in the county they're working in, room, board, there's like several things there, there's no profit left in it by the time you get done running a road crew, because you have to keep them out there, they have to be on the road. It takes a lot longer, actually, if you're going to do it that way, because you have to physically go and touch every single sign. So, I don't know. I believe in what we're doing. I think it's really, really neat. For anybody that's interested, definitely going to have a video on the new captured car, not card. I'm so used to saying captured car because I'm literally using one right now. So, anyways, a lot of stuff coming. I'm super excited. I know probably not a lot of you are even going to see this live stream, but bad weather today. I really don't have anything to start any of my filming as of yet. So I really want to get in front of the camera and even like spin up the intro and start working on that. But really I want to try and do that out in the wild where there's some decent scenery. Hopefully we catch a nice sunny day. I can really, kind of show you what it's like when you're doing this kind of work, because it's tedious, it's time consuming, the days are long, but the stuff you get to see, especially if you're like me, right? I'm the computer nerd. I've been in pretty much the same town most of my life other than when we lived in Florida. And other than that, I really haven't been even outside of this county, let alone the state. So like all the places that I get to go visit around Ohio even, and the people that I get to meet, even just in the state that I live in. Just think about the state that you live in. I'm sure a lot of people from Ohio are watching this, but if you're not from Ohio, just think about the state you live in. Have you been everywhere in that state? Probably not. You know what I mean? I would wager a guess that there's probably really cool stuff in your state that you didn't even know existed. And that's what I find out every time I'm out. There's always something neat. Even if I don't go off and do it, just, knowing about it and learning about it has been a pretty cool process. So, but I do want to get some good footage while I'm out there. I have irons in the fire here. Windows 98 PC again. I can't hack that into the ground enough, especially right now with the cost of computer parts. Man, I hate it. Like, it is possible. You can build a PC for $500, man. You can do it. You can get a decent machine for $300. Obviously, for anybody that has watched my Beelink SER5 video knows. Word of the wise, also this gaming laptop right here that has a 11th gen i7 and an RTX 3060. If we took the GPU out of this, it's the same speed as that $300 Beelink. Like to the letter. The single core speed, the multi-core speed on the benchmarks, the same. It's like 1600 single core speed and about 6400 multi-core on like a lot of the benchmarks that I ran. So for $300 and it has that Radeon GPU, you're getting like 70%, 80% of this PC for $300. That's freaking awesome. But in the same respect, it's tiny. It doesn't have a lot of upgradability. I can't like put a bunch of PCI cards and stuff in there. So I am noticing, especially with the server machine over here right now, it has an ITX motherboard in there. So, and it does have one PCIe slot, but it's being taken up by a GPU. I kind of rather that have more slots as well. Put things like USB-C and faster USB 3 intake, for ingest. I do a lot of stuff over network transfer, but I'm only running a 1 gigabits network here. It's nothing impressive, man. I really, it's too bad too, because I did Cisco networking in high school. And I had, 1 gigabit Ethernet in my house probably before a lot of people did. A lot of people, if they did have Ethernet, was probably still running 10100. It was usually just because you didn't pay attention to your box when you bought your router. There were a lot of people still running 10100 that didn't realize it. Like not even getting the full speed of their internet because they cheaped out on their router. That is a whole other issue. But anyways, now that like 2.5 gig, 10 gig, these things are becoming more commonplace. So I really need to upgrade at least my baseline Ethernet. So I'm thinking about doing a whole house upgrade to at least 2.5, and possibly a 10 gig fiber from the server to a switch, so I can ingest from multiple machines. Because it's got like 6 terabytes of storage or what have you. So I've been offloading a lot of my video stuff onto the server, and it's also running techyeah.net right now as well. So if you navigate to my website, I haven't put the article on there for the 98 PC upgrade yet. Been pulling really long hours working on this car for the last few weeks, so I really haven't had a chance to keep up with like my blog or anything like that. I've managed to push out a few of these videos, but luckily, I had a solid day to film them, and then throughout, it took me like 2 weeks to cut the Windows 98 videos. So I really would like to put these out more frequently. Especially the ones that I actually have edited that aren't so, I guess, low budget feeling. There are several plugins and stuff that we can add some pizzazz to the live stream, you guys. It doesn't have to be so you know what I mean? But I gotta get you guys firing off stuff in the chat. You know what I mean? You gotta bounce, you know what I mean? Like, there's gotta be some feng shui, right? It can't just be me talking. I mean, it's therapeutic, don't get it wrong. I don't mind doing it, because otherwise this is just like stuff going on in my head all the time. You know what I mean? Like, these are pretty much the memoirs of Garrett's head when I get on and do these live streams. Now that I think about it. But, a lot of them have been super productive for me, because normally, somebody orders a laptop or something like that. Usually, I'm not going through the whole process of stress testing it for them, checking literally every setting. You know what I mean? Because sometimes when you're the tech guy and you get like too far into helping somebody with something, you become responsible for that something. And now that I'm 37 and I've done that so many times in my life, I just get tired of it, man. You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain responsibility that every person needs to have if you're going to own and operate a computer. If you think it's too much for you, stick to your cell phone, I guess. But at the same time, your data is going to get stolen from your phone way faster. I mean, you're just freely giving it away anyway. So, like, I'd have people complain to me about that and their data and privacy, but then they willingly give it to Google anyways, because they got to sign up for the newest free whatever, and you got to sign in with your Google account, and there's a certain responsibility on you with your devices and your data, etc. And I just got tired of being responsible for people's crap. So I try to give the best advice that I can, but I'm pretty hands-offy to people that I meet in my personal life anymore, and that's just because I don't want to get stuck being responsible for their computer. Because usually people just want you to like deal with their problem and then not give you anything for it. And being, helping people is one thing, but breaking your back to help them while your family goes hungry makes 0 sense. So there we have it. Being helpful is one thing, man, but you don't learn these skills for nothing. So I am happy to give them away and share them with you guys here on YouTube. check out, my website, even my Facebook. I've been known to live stream there every once in a while. There are things I would like to show and teach the world, but at the same time, man, I really don't want to skate that line being responsible for people's dumb decisions. So there we have it. It's one of the reasons why I just went super basic in the Linux video. I really would like to chase that topic down more professionally and fluently, because I use Linux a lot, so I do know my way around several distributions, but at the same time, I feel like, that's more for the people out there that care about Linux, and I'm trying to help the everyday person. So, on that note, before I get off for today, my dad, day or two before his birthday, almost fell prey. Obviously, my parents are smart enough to text me, show me, hey, this just happened to my computer. What is this? So what had happened, he went to some industrial supplier, a normal place that he goes, went to order some stuff, logged in. Immediately after he logged in, his computer goes full screen on the browser. A bunch of pop-ups start coming up telling him basically his computer was detected malware and it was locked by Microsoft support. And if you hear me talking, you already know, then please remind your families. This is still happening in 2023, and I would like to deep dive on this actually myself. I know there's people on YouTube, they're like messing with scammers back and all that stuff, and that's great. And they always explain, what is going on with the scam, but I think I want to explain more on how to identify, because sometimes it's legitimate websites and the ad space on the website is what gets hijacked. So it's really difficult to say, well, just don't go to bad places on the internet, when literally almost every web page now is just a giant billboard on the side of a highway. I mean that wholeheartedly, you know what I mean? I don't run any ads on my website. I host it myself from right here. And while it's a good idea, like in my head, I'm like, well, it'd be nice to have a few bucks, it'd help offset the cost. At the same time, I don't want to open up anybody else's services to my web server. I'm comfortable running the code that I've written on there, in the systems that I have put on there. But I'm really not interested in renting out pieces of my website, no matter how much money really you want to give me. So I'd rather work harder and get less money. I know that doesn't make any sense, but I'm not willing to compromise my website visitors, you know what I mean, for a few bucks. So let that sink in to any company owners that have web pages that have been approached by advertising companies. You know what I mean? It does sound great, but at the same time, you are jeopardizing the integrity of your client's data, and I don't think that's a very cool thing to be doing to your customers. These are the people that literally pay you to do what you do. So just a disclaimer out there. But anyways, be wary on the internet. Safe search is still a thing. So if your browser, if you notice you're typing in up at the top address bar, you used to type in questions there, and a list of answers would come from Google, but now they're coming from like Yahoo or something. It's because your browser has been taken over by an application called Safe Search. Absolutely malware, absolutely collecting your data. You need to go into your apps, click the start bar, just type in APPS. You don't even have to I could explain 100 more complicated ways to get here. It's not the point. For the everyday person that doesn't, just type the little search icon there on your start bar. If it's Windows 11 or 10, type in APPS, and it'll take you to where your installed applications are. If it's not in there, it'll be in the control panel one. That one's not really that much difficult to get to. If you can't find it in your app settings by hitting the search bar, to the search bar again, type in control panel. Then when that pops up, after clicking on it, of course, then there'll be something in there that says add or remove programs. If you've used older versions of Windows, you should be familiar with what it looks like. If you're not, just trust me. If the app wasn't in the first method that I suggested, then it'll be in the second. This is important because you could try 100 different things. You could even try switching your search engine back to Google. Unless you remove the actual safe search program from your PC, it's going to keep doing it. So that's just one thing. You have safe search, you have these tech support scams. So I'm a Microsoft verified partner. They will never lock your computer other than put that watermark down there that says you need to activate Windows or what have you. You know what I mean? But like Microsoft is not going through and scanning your computer, and then if you have virus, they're locking your computer. That doesn't happen. You know what I mean? That would take an enormous amount of computing power, especially, and it would eat up your internet speed because you'd have to have a constant connection back to Microsoft scanning you all the time. You know what I mean? There's a lot of people that are concerned with a lot of things, and that's just nothing. That's nothing. But what is something to be concerned over is anything that ever takes you full screen in your browser unexpectedly. You can hit F11, you can hit Control Delete, Control Escape, or Control Shift Escape. There's a few different key combinations. Best thing to do is open up Task Manager, in Task on anything that looks like a web browser, then clear your browser settings, and then run a program called Malwarebytes. You can go to malwarebytes.com. You can search that in Google, run that on your machine, remove all of the malware from it, and then hopefully have better luck next time as you're surfing the internet. Now, another also thing to be aware of is if this does happen to you, please, for the love of God, send the website a message. You know what I mean? Like, these corporations sometimes, they could be working on development of the next version, or they're doing a lot of stuff, man. So like, they're expecting their website to run unless they get an error report from the website. They don't know. You know what I mean? So like, if you're on a page that you visit normally, or you know what I mean, you think to be legitimate, and you know, you get the full screen, you know, call us, or your computer infected, blah blah blah, any of that bull crap, let that website know that their ad space or somebody's hacked them because their website is delivering this. You know what I mean? Even if it wasn't them, it help you get it figured out, right? But chances are, if you're on a website and you go to log in or do something, and chances are it came from there. I'm just saying. Anyways, happened to my dad. Smart enough to text me, was able to get his issue figured out. This is definitely still happening to people, so it's like I kind of get why a lot of people don't even have like a regular computer anymore, and that kind of sucks in a way because they are super duper useful, but there are a lot of people out there taking advantage of people that don't have the knowledge and counting on them to make mistakes, which they will, and that just kind of pisses me off, man, because I want to be able to have my parents, family members, etc. I want people to be able to do the things like what I like to do on my computer. You know what I mean? I like to create. I like to build things. I like to make things come into fruition from nowhere. And the computer is one of the tools that I use to do that. But it's not just me. There's literally toy designers, engineers, you know what I mean? Like, there's all kinds of people. Just a lot of people use computers, not just for design. It's all kinds of stuff, man. So this is a tool, right? And then people are taking this tool and warping it in ways in which I don't think is really cool. So I think the best thing we can do there is just educate people. So I want to take people down kind of a rundown, how to avoid it, and then I want to kind of show them some of the channels out there that are literally giving these. You got Scammer, Payback, Kitboga. There's a bunch of them, man. It can be kind of entertaining content. But if you really want to get inside the head of one of these scammer people, and understand how to protect yourself, sometimes watching one or two of these videos can really give you some key insights into what to listen for. You know what I mean? And you can just tell how, I want to say piece of S, you know what I mean? But I don't have my bleeper button. But you can really get a window into how terrible of people that these people are to be stealing from. Maybe people that don't know as much, or elderly people, you know what I mean? And it's BS, man. They're taking literally millions of dollars per year from people that did the legitimate things to get their money. And for somebody that's had to work very hard for what he has, just leaves a bad taste in my mouth. But anyways, hope you guys enjoyed everything. I'm gonna get on here real quickie. There we go. All right. And just one more time for anybody that missed it, I'm gonna play this one more again. Got to remember to enable the mic. There it is for the second time for anybody that maybe missed it earlier in the video. But like I said, the video will be coming soon. I don't want this to drone on for too long. My 8-year-old's inside waiting for me to come back in. It's really windy out here and I can't really find much to get into. I don't have any of the equipment that I need to really get any further with what I have here. So I would like to do a budget PC building guide kind of a thing as soon as I get a little more capital to do that. I am revamping up my Patreon, so I am going to try to record a little bit for Patreon. Hopefully that'll go live Monday morning at about 10 a.m. Other than that, I wish you guys the best. If you'd like to support me, definitely check me out. It's patreon.com/techyeah. Other than that, appreciate everybody. Thank you for watching. If you did watch this, I'm going to go ahead and sign out and hopefully not get blown away to China when I walk outside in this horrid wind. See you later.